I've been told this is a very scary forest, but it just looks okay to me. I mean, the sun is shining now.
She's created a story with the class where she is a wizard who sends them on a dangerous quest to recover her missing children.
I would advise any teacher who isn't terribly confident about working in a role to choose a role that isn't too far from her own teacher persona. It's wise not to be the absolute ultimate authority, because that almost gives you too much power, and it's a little hard to relinquish it. Unless you know the magic word, you cannot enter.
Magic wizard, come alive. I'll kill you till you die.
It may be a mistake, particularly if you happen to be a very good actor, to actually get into character, because you're in the make-believe in a way that the children are not really able to join you at that level.
Cecily has chosen the role of a wizard, but she is not all-powerful. She is a wizard that needs the children's help.
Can you do something that I can't do? Could you go and find my son and my daughter and bring them back here to me?
Think of a word to describe that feeling and go!
Sarah's running a workshop based on the book Voices in the Park that she's been reading with her class. She's invited Cecily to observe her.
What hidden word is suspicious? Look at that, it's fantastic. Suspicious. Good. Let's go to...
Sarah has chosen the role of the park keeper. Some teachers find getting in and out of role clearly and convincingly a difficult task.
Right. I'm very glad that you can make this meeting today. As Chief Park Keeper of Southwark Park, I am very pleased that you have taken time out of your very busy schedules to come and join me in this important meeting.
Everybody will find a different way of working in role. Some people find it useful to adopt a piece of costume, a scarf or a hat, to differentiate when they're in role from when they're not in role. Sarah, for example, put a coat on, and that established her authority as being in charge of the park. It can just mark off for the children the moment that you're not their teacher, you're now in role. And then when you feel the need to be the teacher again, you can take off your hat or scarf or whatever it is and re-establish your regular relationship with them.
Who is a tree here? Can you raise your hand if you're representing the trees?
Sarah asks her pupils to take on the role of the trees, the grass, or the lampposts in the park.
Can you tell me why it's very important that young children don't climb you?
Because when someone climbs up a tree on you, it's just like an ordinary person like climbing on you and trying to stamp on you and tread on you, and it hurts.
It does hurt, does it? What happens to your bark?
If some of the tiny bits fall off and I lose my skin.
You lose your skin, that's not nice, and it's coming to winter, isn't it? And you need to be protected and keep warm, don't you?
It's cold.
It is, it's getting cold.
More importantly almost than the role the teacher chooses, the role that you give the kids is, I think, very important. A role that has to ask questions is a very useful one, or a role that has to answer questions, provided they've got the information with which to answer. Adults always. I did ask a child once, why do you think I usually ask you to be adults? And he said, because we know how to be children, we need to learn how to be adults. I think if the children are in adult roles, then more can be expected of them, and behaviour is easier to monitor.
Mud, 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 and more mud. Bring on the mud.
I want to be stronger. I need to tell you that it's not my fault. Runts are weak. You need to help me. I want to carry on being the baby on your front.
It's using animals is something that all children can relate to. Everyone knows what an animal is. So by starting off with, think about what it is to be an animal, to be a pet, and then expanding that out into, but what if it was, you know, I don't know, something mystical like a fairy or something from a fictional story.
Exactly, so you could use it as a jumping off point. One of the things I like about using or beginning with a pet is that it puts kids, for example, especially little kids, in a caring relationship with each other. And even if it's their best friend or something, so, you know, if in a classroom with time I'd say, well, you know, look after your pet. Where does it live? What do you feed it on? I need a little bit of research.
So one of the important factors to remember when giving children roles is the power relationship between those roles.
Think of one message they would want to get across to human beings in general. Could you think of like one strong message or slogan?
I'd just like to tell my owner and all the other humans out there that dogs are man's best friend, and I'd just like a bit more meat on my bone.
Back in the wizard's castle, Cecily is still in role. She's negotiating with the adventurers. Will they go on her quest?
What do you think?
If you want us to get your kid, how are we going to go there without no magic? They don't know us.
I will give you each one piece of magic to help you, but you must only use it at the most dangerous part of the journey.
So the children's suggestion that they need magic to complete their quest is incorporated by Cecily into the workshop.
This morning I got up and laying on the doormat was an envelope, and it said, Buttercup's class, Great Hockham School. Shall we see what it says? Receiving the letter from Storyland is a good way. They're excited by letters. They know good things come out of the letters we receive. So reading the letter gives you a chance to set the scene and give the children the little pieces of information that they need to know. Ready to move on with the drama? Number Muncher Cafe, Storyland. Dear Buttercups, my name is Chef Jeff and I own the Number Muncher. Teacher in role is when the teacher takes on a part in the drama, takes on a role. It can be a sustained role which lasts through the whole drama, or sometimes you might just take on a role for part of the drama and then return as the teacher. And today's lesson, my role was sustained. Once we got into Storyland, the teacher went off into the distance looking for Chef Jeff, and Chef Jeff came back in, and from then on I was Chef Jeff. Hello? Who are you?
Buttercups!
Buttercups? I wrote you a letter. Did you get it?
Yeah!
Oh, thank goodness for that. Come over here. Hang on a minute.
Teacher in role is a really key strategy because it shifts the way that a teacher is relating with a child. And the teacher in role, first of all, it's incredibly flexible because you can be anybody. You know, you can be somebody who owns a cafe in Storyland, or you can be a tyrant king, or you can be whatever, really. You can create anything. So you have great flexibility as a teacher in role.
What do you think I do at the cafe?
Bake pink ice buns.
I do bake pink ice buns. You can take on a lot of power in that role if you need to do a lot of class control, or you can have a very low status role, in which case the children take on that power. And I've not got a very good memory, so as soon as you've shown me, I'll probably forget. So today I'd got low status in some respects. I didn't know the maths, which the children knew, but also I did have a slight element of power, which I need for class control, in that it was my kitchen, and so people were visiting my domain, and so they would behave appropriately. Now, one day, Millie, Chef Jeff and Cookbook and Master Cook were in the kitchen. Peggy was out front and there was a knock on the door. And Peggy opened up the door and in came a customer. And this customer's name was Even Stephen.
In this initial part of the lesson, Terry, as Chef Jeff, introduced the children to a range of fictional characters.
Oddbod and Even Stephen. And we'd got Double Trouble and Double Bubble. Whoosh!
Terry invented these characters herself, and she uses them as teaching aids to help the children to learn about number bonds, odds and evens, and doubles.